Let's take you inside of Mar-a-Lago. Trump, Elon, and God bless America. You can say the vibes are high at the winter White House. And 47 says it's only the beginning.
We just had a big victory. You may have read about it. Setting records with practically every voting group, every voting class. They say most consequential win in the last 129 years. What's that all about? That's a lot. I just wanted to win. Didn't have to be that much. I just wanted to win.
So much winning.
But we did. Yeah, too much winning. Too much winning. That was no such thing. Is there any such thing as too much winning? No. But we have to win now as a country.
And it's official. The Republicans have captured the House. Democrats are shut out of power everywhere. And now another Trump could be going to Washington. Nope, not Barron yet. Lara Trump could be Florida's next senator. When Rubio leaves for the State Department, DeSantis gets to pick his replacement. And Lara says she's into it. Now, while Congress shapes up, Trump's nominating people at warp speed. Just in, RFK Jr. has been tapped to be Secretary of Health and Human Services. Trump says RFK will make the department follow the science, not the money, be beacons of transparency, end the chronic disease epidemic, and make America healthy again. Maha.
For 19 years, I have got every morning, without one exception, I have said a prayer to God to put me in a position where I could end the chronic disease epidemic. On August 23rd of this year, God sent me Donald J. Trump.
Big pharma, big sugar, watch out. Certain stocks dropping like rocks the moment he was picked. RFK is going to clean house.
Doritos, Cheez-Its, Captain Crunch, gummy bears. Everyone knows that these are junk foods, so maybe you wouldn't be too surprised to see that the ingredients include a lot of poisons, including a harmful yellow dye called tetrazine, or yellow dye number 5. What you may not know is that this dye was originally made out of the sludge that's left over when you turn coal into coke for blast furnaces. It's called coal tar, and I've actually sued many big industries for legacy contamination of coal tar all around the country because it's so toxic and it's so harmful to the environment and human beings. If we took all of these chemicals out, our nation would get healthier immediately. We'd have fewer sick days. We'd have better focus. We'd have less anxiety. Our kids would learn more easily. We'd lose weight. We'd have more energy. We'd have fewer tumors and longer lives.
They poison our food and then sell us pills. We get sick and they get rich. RFK wants us to eat clean, and he's ready to axe corrupt government staff on day one. TV doctors are worried we're not going to need them anymore.
It's not often that the entire medical and public health community is going to be in lockstep on something, but they're pretty close on this in terms of their significant concerns, horror even. Somebody said to me today, I can't think of any single individual who'd be more damaging to public health than RFK.
Their career staff texting me saying this was just the push they needed to try to get out. They were already on the fence and worried. So we're not just going to see this incredible kind of integration of ideology that has no science behind it.
America is the sickest country in the entire developed world. And TV doctors are happy with the status quo. 3/4 of American adults are overweight or obese. It doesn't have to be this way. America should be the healthiest country. Our food's so toxic, we're not even allowed to sell it in Europe. We all started getting sick and fat in 1990. That's when they added ultra-processed food to the food pyramid. Doctors began prescribing everyone pharmaceuticals, and everyone got a desk job and stared at a screen all day. Have you been to the beach recently? We used to be a lot skinnier. The government let the food and drug industry turn us into Jabba the Hutt. And they say RFK's dangerous. These people should be brought up on child abuse charges. I saw an elementary school class walking down the street in Midtown yesterday. Looked like the Cowboys' offensive line. The Army can't even recruit. They had to lower their standards because everyone was too big and slow. Show me a 70-year-old who can do this. Now, this is the most powerful woman or man at Health and Human Services, Rachel Levine. Would you consider him or her healthy and fit? RFK Jr. would oversee agencies that lied about COVID and told us to hide from a virus that spreads inside. Why are Democrats so bent out of shape about a ripped 70-year-old wanting to take food coloring out of Doritos and go for a hike once in a while? This guy wants clean water and fresh fruit, and Democrats are calling him crazy. RFK Jr. saying, let's diet and exercise, and the left saying, no, stay inside, eat takeout, and inject Ozempic. If anyone tells you that's healthy, they're the threat. Trump's mandate was to make America healthy again, get DEI and CRT out of the Pentagon, and fire the spies who lied to us. If you're against that, you just outed yourself.
The choice of Tulsi Gabbard as DNI is not in the best interest of the American people. It's not in the best interest of our national security. This is so extraordinarily dangerous.
Being a serviceman, it does not make you qualified to lead the Department of Defense and to have access to our nuclear weapons. I'm very disturbed by this. This guy is clearly a sycophant for Donald Trump.
The Attorney General sees the most sensitive intelligence in the government. He's threatening to blow up the department and has accused it of being corrupt. And there's a real fear inside the Justice Department that he or people like him would order investigations where there was no predicate, where there was no crime.
So the CIA and Wall Street are going to be putting up a big fight over Trump's cabinet. Big. The country voted for change, and they're going to try to stop it. It's not just about eliminating their power, profiteering, and corruption. It's about exposing what they've done. Like the Department of Justice, who spied on Trump, raided his house, arrested him, and covered up for the Bidens. They're acting like the Gates nomination could break them. The headline in Politico, you thought the DOJ staffers were in a full-blown freakout before? What the F is happening? OMG. I'm struggling to find words. Why are they surprised that Trump wants a reckoning at DOJ? The department that covered up Epstein, Diddy, and both Trump assassination attempts. Who did you think Trump was going to put in charge there? Tulsi, Hegseth, Gates, Kennedy, Washington's worst nightmare. Sources inside the Pentagon say the mood's dark, feels like a morgue, and they're worried about a shakeup. Every single person that was elevated and appointed by Milley will be gone. The State Department's so scared of change, they're emptying their bank accounts and sending all their money to Ukraine.
President Biden is committed to making sure that every dollar we have at our disposal will be pushed out the door between now and January 20th.
These people weren't scared that Trump's a fascist. They're scared that he's effective. Washington looks like a bunch of scared teens trying to clean up their rooms before dad comes home. And everyone's being polite. You don't want to get on his bad side.
What happened to the threat of democracy talk? What happened to the fascist talk? By the way, I know I've said those things about Trump as well, but I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about his political opponents like President Biden. When they say it, it holds way more weight than me. I'm just trying to figure out, how do you go from he's an existential threat to democracy to welcome back?
Trump's picking firebrands to tear down the system that tried to destroy us. Fetterman calls it karma.
I would describe it as God-tier level trolling to just trigger a full-on China syndrome to own the libs in perpetuity.
If the Republicans stick together, there's nothing anybody can do about it. We have everything they want, that we want, everything we voted for, everything we were promised. So you're going to see an avalanche of leaks and lies about these nominees to break the will of the Senate. And if the Senate loses its nerve, then the will of the people loses. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.